I'm going to talk about our new project that is called Cancer Screening in 5 continents, CanScreen5 in short. It is a global repository of information on cancer screening, especially focusing on the common cancers like cervical cancer, breast cancer, colorectal cancer screening. So this is an online repository where you get information on the cancer screening protocols, the policies, the organization of cancer screening from the different countries across the globe. More importantly, which is very much needed, is that we also collect data from the countries to understand the performance of cancer screening. As you know, cancer screening program is quite a difficult public health exercise because it's quite complex. And until and unless it is appropriately evaluated with performance indicators, the quality cannot be assured. So the CanScreen5 project, it is not just a passive data collection. We actively engage with the Ministry of Health of the different countries, try to train the program managers, program coordinators for them to understand the value of collecting performance data across the cancer screening continuum and use the data to monitor and to improve the quality of cancer screening. So that is essentially the goal and the major focus of CanScreen5. It's a global project. Recently, we published in the Nature journal. We published data from 84 different countries. There was representation from all the different continents. So as I mentioned before, that we do not collect secondary data. We directly engage with the Ministry of Health and collect data and information directly from the Ministry of Health. We have different ways to approach the Ministry of Health. As you know, it's a big challenge to directly find out the appropriate person in the Ministry of Health. So we take help from the huge network of collaborators that IARC has across the globe. And these collaborators are mostly researchers or clinicians in the National Cancer Institutes of the countries or other major academic institutions, and they help us to get the contact within the ministry. And the response from the ministry, honestly, it is mixed. Sometimes it is very, very prompt, but not. Sometimes it requires quite a lot of engagement. When they understand that we are not collecting data just for the sake of collecting data. There is a very strong component of building capacity within the country for the program managers to understand the value of quality in cancer screening, for the program managers to understand how to monitor cancer screening using the performance indicators, and also we are providing them a ready database that they can use for improving quality of the program. They become more engaged with us. When we approach the countries, we first do the training of the program managers. It's a hybrid training. Program managers first do an online training, followed by we do a very short on-site training program, and then we give program managers access to our online database. In the online database, there is a ready form or ready data collection tool available. So the program managers, they have to just fill in a survey, and if they have data from the cancer screening program, they have to just fill in the database. As soon as the database is filled in, the key performance indicators are automatically generated, and it is generated in a nice way as maps, as different kinds of graphics. But the biggest challenge is collecting data across the screening program continuum. As you know, screening program is just not doing the test. We have to make sure that those who are positive on screening tests, they undergo further assessment. The precancers or cancers that are diagnosed with screening, they need to be appropriately treated. And the program needs to have information on how many men or women have been screened, what happened to the screened population, how many precancers and cancers have been treated. So But then this is unfortunate that most of the programs, especially in the low and middle income countries, they are not collecting data which is across the screening continuum. They're only collecting data just to say how many number of people have been screened, which we call screening coverage. But then screening coverage alone does not tell you anything about the quality of the screening programs. So this is where we are now focusing on. We are trying to make the program managers understand that health information system is necessary to collect screening data across the screening continuum. Not only collecting data, but then also to analyze the data to understand the performance of the screening program. So that is the main focus of CanScreen5. We are making gradual progress. We have now quantitative data even from quite a few low and middle income countries, especially on cervical cancer screening. Unfortunately, what we see is breast cancer screening data is very rarely available from the low and middle income countries. We have data from European countries, we have data from North American countries, also from Australia, but then rest of the globe where huge amount of screening activity is ongoing, we have very little performance data collected from these countries. It's a gradual process. I'm sure as the programs understand the value of measuring performance and then monitoring the programs, just like any other public health program, they will start collecting data. And COVID has created a great opportunity because COVID has shown that all low and middle income countries, they have the capabilities of having a health information system to collect program data or monitor vaccination. So those databases that were used for COVID monitoring can be repurposed to collect data on cancer screening. So this will be a great opportunity for this program, especially in the low and middle income countries, to see how they can repurpose these COVID databases to collect data for cancer screening. And many of the countries are actually doing it. Once they collect the data, then as I said, if the data is submitted to our platform, automatically the performance indicators are calculated. And this will be calculated in a harmonized manner. At the present moment, the indicators are calculated in different ways in different programs, in different countries. But then, so it becomes very difficult to compare the performance of the screening programs. So now, since in CanScreen5, all the indicators will be generated in the same way, it will be possible to compare the performance across the different countries. And we already have, as I said, information from 84 countries. We have already data collected from at least 50% of them. So we are making progress. We have Morocco, we have Rwanda that is doing cervical cancer. Morocco is focusing more on breast cancer screening because it does not have a huge load of cervical cancer. Whereas Rwanda, big burden of cervical cancer, they are doing quite a reasonably good cervical screening program, and now they are moving towards HPV detection-based screening program, one of the first in the low and middle income category of countries. Similarly, in this region of Asia, if we see Thailand is doing quite well in terms of rolling out cervical cancer screening program, breast cancer screening program, and now they are also starting colorectal cancer screening program. So there are different examples. Bangladesh is doing quite well in terms of rolling out VIA-based cervical cancer screening program. For a country with such a huge population, it's remarkable that they have introduced the program in a very systematic way. Gradually, it is being scaled up across the country. So in spite of all the challenges, there are positive examples. These training programs are held in a group. So for example, we have done training program for Latin American countries, the European countries, we have done training program for East African countries. We are trying to develop some kind of network in this region, and we need help from organizations like National Cancer Institute in Vietnam, National Cancer Institute in South Korea or China. We are approaching them so that we can develop a network and have this training program all together. So if you look at the CanScreen5 data, you'll see more representation from Africa, Latin America, Europe, because we have done the training program. Here we are still in a planning phase. Hopefully in a few months we'll be able to do that.